What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Logic Pro X video. I am Manny from Lost in a Memory, and today I am joined by my cat right here. His name is Oliver, the executive producer. He's a little bit sleepy, but he's always looking to see what kind of cool stuff I do right here as far as music. So today I'm here to show you how I recreated The Middle by Jimmy Eat World. My version sounds like this. Okay, so hopefully you pick up a few tips and tricks on how to make, mix, master music, whatever. So let's get right into it. So this is going to be a more structured video than before. So first I'll give you an overview of the whole, like the different parts of the project. We'll start with vocals. So I'll show you how I did the vocals for this video, for this cover, I should say. Guitar. Then we'll go over guitars, bass, drums, and then I'll show you how I mastered or how I mixed the whole thing. And here we go. So first, the verse, well, it sounds like this. Hey, don't write yourself off yet. I won't play the whole thing. It's only in your head you feel left out or look down on. And here's the chorus. It just takes some time. Little girl, you're in the middle of the ride. Everything okay. Will be just and right. Here's the bridge. Solo, I mean. So, oh my gosh. Okay, so my cat, my cat just threw up on the carpet. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, that is an interesting way to start a video. Yeah, thank God the camera doesn't reach that low, so you guys don't have to see that. All right. Well, let's get. Oh my God, he's still doing it. No. Jesus. Okay. I am so sorry. That was so unprofessional. All right. So let's start off with some vocals. So some verse vocals right here. So these pink tracks right here, this is verse. These are verse tracks. The reason why there's two of them, even though it's a single vocal line, is because I double my vocals. So they sound like this. Hey, don't write yourself off yet. It's only in your head you feel left out. Jesus. Or look down on. All right. So the reason why I double, first of all, it's a very common technique in music to double your vocals. It gives it a whole new level of, I guess, like a texture or dynamics. It makes it sound more full. So here's what it would sound like. And it does have a lot of plugins right here. So we'll go over these. But here's what it sounds like with the plugins if it wasn't doubled. Hey, don't write yourself off yet. Here's the double. It's only in your head you feel left out or look down on. So some people, some producers, they add a chorus effect, which is meant to mimic the... It's meant to mimic multiple people singing the same line. I'd rather go old school and actually sing the line differently because you get, you obviously, no human in the world, unless you're Charlie Puth, can sing the, perfect pitch every time. And of course, there's these little... I guess you sing everything like a little bit off time every single time, which adds that chorus effect. So that's why I double. Let me show you my chain for my verse real quick. So I do run pitch correction, the stock one that comes with Logic. Hey, because I'm not a perfect singer, but it's not that heavy. Then I run a de-esser to suppress the S sound. So it's only in your listen every time I say the S word. Not the word, S sound. You'll see that it detects it and it reduces it. Check it out. It's only in your head you feel left out. Sometimes with the Fs too. So that takes away that annoyance of the sibilances. Then I run it through a noise gate to take, whenever I'm not singing anything, it takes away the room noise. I run it through a compressor to squish the dynamics. I know that sounds funny, but it makes basically something like, let's say this area right here. Let's see. I guess this is pretty consistent, but if I sing something kind of like low volume, like don't write yourself, and then I sing something louder, like or look down on. So right now I'm not running a compressor on this mic, so that might have like sounded funny to you, but on the actual recording, it helps keep the dynamics more stable, more even. Then I run it through a reverb, one of the stock reverbs that came with Logic. Now I use an Abbey Road plugin from Waves, but at the time when I made this, which was like a few months ago, I used this. Now, here's something that I recommend. So if you see right here my vocal tracks, for example, these are the verses. Here is some some chorus vocals right here. They're all running their own reverb plugin, which is it's fine. But I would rather recommend you guys running your vocals through a bus. Let's say, let's see, bus number 16 right here has a reverb. Oh, it doesn't have a reverb. You can put your reverb right here instead. Let's say Space Designer, for example. It's a great reverb that comes with Logic, and you can just route your tracks to that single reverb instead of adding a reverb to every vocal track. Not only does this method that I just explained cut down on your CPU usage, but you get a more consistent reverb. I don't know what I was thinking at the time when I made this, but that's my recommendation for you guys going forward. And then we got our channel EQs right here. So I cut out a lot of the lows and the highs, and I boost the mids, the middles. Pun intended. Anyways, that was horrible. Okay. Don't dislike this video for that, please. So I cut out the highs. The reason for that is because this song has a lot of like high guitar, like high frequency guitars, hi hats. So I want to save that frequency spectrum for those instruments versus vocals. So here's what it sounds like without EQ.
Hey, don't write yourself off yet.
Here's with.
It's only in your head you feel left out.
Without.
Or looked down
With.
on.
So it does take away the clarity of the voice, but for this type of music, it goes good. So let's go into the choruses right here. So there's actually 6 vocal tracks for the chorus. First of all, we got my main lead vocals, but doubled.
It just takes some time, little girl, you're in the middle of the ride. Everything will be just fine. Everything will be all
so here's something cool.
right.
So my lead vocals, I route them instead of to the stereo output, which is your main, I guess your master bus. I send them to their own bus. So I send lead vocals to bus number 44. Don't ask me why I picked that number. I just did, which is running through a multipressor. So all my lead vocals are running through this multipressor right here, which is a compressor that compresses different frequencies individually, and then they go to the stereo output. And then my backing vocals, which are harmonies, and I'll show you those in a bit, and my doubles, they're going to this bus number 17, which is cutting off pretty much all the low end on them, an adaptive limiter to keep them even. They're very low, negative 5.8 decibels, and they have a stereo spreader effect. So here's what it sounds like without a spreader. It's in the middle, pun intended. Now the backing vocals are on the outer edges. So then we got these harmonies right here, and again they are also doubled, but one is panned slightly to the right and one is to the left, or left and right.
It just takes some time.
Those are the harmonies. Very robotic.
Everything will be
and leads.
fine. Everything will be all right. It just takes some.
So those are the actual notes that Jimmy Eat World sing whenever they do harmonies for that song. I think, if I can be completely honest, they are boring harmonies, but they're effective when they're very low. So right here you'll see that they're low right here in terms of volume. And I thought those harmonies were boring, so I brought my own harmonies right here. I actually kind of got inspired by We the King's version of this song. They do more dynamic harmonies, and they sound like this.
It just takes some time, little girl, you're in the middle of the ride. Everything
If you combine them with the original harmonies,
everything will be all right.
now the main ones.
It just takes some time, little girl, you're in the middle of the ride. Everything will be just fine. Everything will be all right.
Woo! Indeed. All right. So those harmonies, what you'll notice is they have a more aggressive pitch correction. Pitch correction. I mean, a lot of people know it as auto-tune, but auto-tune is its own plugin. But the one in Logic, I've noticed that it works so good. So yeah, it's very aggressive, which I don't mind in harmonies if it gets that kind of like almost T-Pain like effect. I don't really mind having that as long as the harmonies sound good because they are in the background anyway. Here's a tip for my fellow viewers, singers that are not that good at harmonizing, like myself. Whenever I do harmonies, I usually play a piano. Like I play the harmonies on a piano like this. And that guides my pitch, and then I sing to that.
Everything'll be just fine. Everything'll be alright.
So that's how I kind of cheat harmonies, because I'm not the best at harmonizing. And that's pretty much almost everything about the vocals. The bridge has these telephone effect vocals. That's what I like to call them. They're just lo-fi vocals. Let me show you what they sound like and how to get that effect.
Feel left out or looked down on.
So you're gonna focus on these right here.
Just do your best. Do everything you can. And don't you worry.
So these vocals right here.
Left out. Just do your best. Do everything you can.
So it's super easy to get that like telephone effect. Of course, I think Logic comes. Yeah. So I think I started off with one of these presets, I guess. Let me move this over here so it's actually within the screen. So I'm actually using an ultra wide monitor, so there's actually more screen space over here on the right, but I'm recording this in 16:9 1080p by 1920 so that it actually fits more comfortably in your phones or computers, wherever you're watching. But to get a lo-fi telephone kind of effect, so here's what it sounds like without this EQ.
Just do your best.
And with.
Just do your best.
That's it. You just cut off a lot of the high frequency or low frequencies right here, and you can cut off the light one, the high frequencies too, and you get that effect. So that's pretty much it. Oh, and I'm routing this to my backing vocals, my backing vocal bus, which is right here on the right, so that it has that spreader effect. So it goes through the multipressor, limiter, adaptive limiter. Why did I add two of these? Huh. Sometimes I question my own production choices. I mean, they work, but whatever. All right, so let's dive right into guitars. This section is really fun. So what I've highlighted here are all the guitars that are in the song. And you might be asking, why is there so many guitars? Well, let me answer that. Sorry, I didn't have a clever segue. So the intro goes like this. Hopefully you're wearing headphones so you can tell the left and the right channels. So I'm running my guitars. I'm using a Schecter Hellraiser guitar for this. No, I wasn't actually. I used a Fender Squier for this guitar, for the guitar for this song. I have a Fender Squier that's a piece of shit that I bought a long time ago, and it goes out of tune by just looking at it. But I really needed that thin sound, so it was pretty much the first time I used it in years to record anything. And I apologize for that cuss word if it offended. I really do apologize. Not really at all. So I'm running the guitars through a third-party plugin called STL Tone Hub. It's a really cool. It's my favorite guitar plugin. And I really wish they sponsored this video. They don't, but STL Tone Hub, send me some money, please, so I can talk nice about your plugin. But no, I mean, it's beautiful. It's a great plugin. It sounds and feels like I'm playing an actual guitar amp, and it's based on presets. So you got like hundreds of presets. You can buy packs separately. So for this one, I used what preset did I even use for this one? But of course, I didn't just pick a preset and ran with it. I messed with these dials so I could get the right tone, the right effects. Oh, I used the Fender Tweed Deluxe pack that I bought pretty much that same week that I made this video. So just like with my vocals, I double them. By the way, drinking game. Every time I said I say or take a shot. Anyways, I double my vocals, just like it's a very common technique in rock. So let's call these guitars crunch left and crunch right, as I call them right here. And just like the name suggests, by the way, take a shot. I pan these left and right, not all the way to the left and right channels, but that way it gives it more space. And then these two guitars come in right here. And yes, even though that sounded weird, I didn't mess up that note. Those are the actual notes. And then these heavy ones. So I'll go through these real quick. first of all, I'm also running my heavy rhythms, my rhythm guitars, and my lead guitars through their own buses, just like I did lead vocals and backing vocals. So first of all, rhythm guitars, I run them through bus number 4 right here. And bus number 4, basically, I cut off a lot of the low end. Well, not a lot, but just I do a cut right here on the 44 hertz spectrum, because that spectrum belongs to the bass and the kick drum. I don't want these guitars to muddy up that mix, that spectrum, I should say, but you still have a full sound. Versus these lead guitars that are running through bus number 7, which is my lead guitar bus. Right here, I'm cutting off a lot of the annoying high frequencies and a lot more of the lows, whereas before I was cutting at 44, around like right here for the rhythms. For the lead guitars, I cut off a lot more, and you'll notice when I play them, they sound thinner. But that's so that they don't step over each other, and we got these rhythms right here. These are also running through bus 4, which is rhythm, but they are a different preset. So I bought this pack from the STL website. Again, STL, please sponsor me. That'd be nice. I bought the Lee Malia Bring Me the Horizon presets. I used the one, I started off with the preset for the song Avalanche, and then I just messed with it. So I don't remember how much I messed with it, but yeah, this gave me that heavy sound. And these are panned hard left and hard right respectively. So yeah,
Everything'll be alright.
And this is cool. These guitars come in on the second second verse. So this, I think I made my pretty much my own sound, starting off with this Lee Malia preset again. But what makes this really cool is that delay effect. So if it didn't have them, so here's a lead guitar left and right, which for some reason I labeled them both heavy lead R and R when one should have been left. But if I turn off that lead, if I turn off that delay, it'll sound like this. That's boring, right? Once you add the delay, there we go. No, there we go. I hope you guys are wearing headphones for this. And here's another trick. You gotta work smarter, not harder, right? So this is a cover. So all I had to do was record like about 8, I guess, measures or beats. Please correct me. Like, I'm terrible with measures, beats, and all that. But all I had to do is record this part right here of the song, and then loop it. So that's how you work smarter, not harder.
Live right now.
And that's basically how I did guitars. Now let me just show you that epic solo guitar, and then I'll show you how I cheated on that solo. Let me show you. I did play it though, so just an FYI. Oh, there's a little synthesizer right there too. Well, I'll go over that too. But let me show you first of all my settings for that lead. Okay, so STL Tone Hub. You're probably wondering why there's a pitch correction effect on a guitar, and I'll show you in a bit. So first of all, I'm running this. Here's what it sounds like without the plugin. Basically, it's just a distorted guitar running through a compressor and overdrive pedal. This heavy amp, I guess, and delay. Whenever I do leads, whenever I do leads, I do enjoy plenty of delay. Reverb sometimes. I guess I didn't run reverb on this one, so that's surprising. I guess the delay was enough. I had a delay at 1/8, 8 notes right here. So you hear that? And the delay that comes with STL is a stereo delay, so I really like that. So if you're wearing headphones, you'll notice left and right. Watch. The delay goes the delay goes left and right. So that solo, this guitar solo is really hard. I haven't practiced guitar in a bit, so here are all my failed takes, and I pretty much Frankenstein the solo out of the best parts of these, the best takes out of all of these, which is pretty gnarly. So it just shows that I'm getting a little bit rusty on the guitar, even though it was my first instrument. I used 2 different tracks. One has a pitch correction effect, one does not. Let me show you why. Oh, I panned it a little bit to the right too. And the channel EQ, I'm cutting off a lot of, well, plenty of the lows, because whenever you're doing solos right here, you'll get a lot of noise from the lower strings like this. Watch, if I turn this off. I guess it's not that noticeable. And of course, you'll notice right here, I did record it in parts. So if you're a good guitar player, if you want to call me a poser, I welcome that. Anyways, here's some pitch correction right here. Let me remember why I used this. Why did I use it? Oh, okay. So, like I said, I used a Fender Squier, which is a piece of crap. So the intonation on that guitar is off. Basically, the notes that are further down in the neck, if you tune the guitar, they will be in tune, but the higher up in the neck that you go, it just starts getting out of tune, which is terrible. So that's why I added this pitch correction for these notes right here. So if I turn this off, if I bypass it right here with automation, right here. So it might not be that noticeable right here. I won't go into depth. Into depth. Oh my gosh, I can't even talk, and I do apologize. I drink a beer while doing this video, so I think it's getting to me. Anyways, yeah. So I used a pitch correction plugin on guitars, which I had never had to do, and I hope never to use it again. Hopefully, I don't have to use that guitar, or I'll upgrade that guitar. I have like a ton of guitars anyway, so I don't need that one. Anyways, here's this little synthesizer. So finding synthesizer sounds, it's kind of tough to find something that kind of matches the original song. So the original plugin that I use is the sampler that comes with Logic Pro X, and I used the Miami Lead, I guess. I'm sorry. Miami Lead preset. Oh my gosh, I am terrible. So I love the synthesizer that comes with Logic. Look at all these presets right here. I don't know how I managed to find it, but here's what it sounds like without the effects I added. Oh, and I apologize, it's kind of loud. Let me actually turn that down so it doesn't kill your ears. So do you notice how annoying it is? So I added this channel EQ to take away those high frequencies. By the way, my cat just jumped behind me, so please don't get distracted. And then I did a phaser effect. Let me turn off the channel EQ. And a tremolo effect. If you're wearing headphones, you'll notice this synth is now going left and right. Here's what the tremolo effect looks like. Since it wasn't so much of a lead, it's kind of buried in the background, but it's noticeable. Here we go. Hey, don't write yourself off yet. And that's it. That's guitars and I guess the one synth. I'll go into bass, which won't take too long, and then drums. So first of all, bass. You'll notice there's 2 bass tracks right here. I don't know why I always color my bass tracks blue. I guess that's the color association I have with bass. I don't know why. But basically, why I have 2 bass tracks, they're not doubled, of course. They're just copied, because if you double a bass, you're going to get a lot of muddy stuff. So never, I mean, do whatever you want. You're free. But don't double a bass. I just basically duplicate the track and copy and paste the exact same region that I had already recorded, but with different settings. So first of all, this bass right here, here's what I call the heavy bass. These strings were kind of old, I think, so they don't have that punk sound that I usually like, but I'm running them through STL Tone Hub. Here's what it sounds like without. That's a dry bass. There's a compressor, channel EQ, and STL Tone Hub. I used one of the presets that comes with STL Tone Hub right here called SVT4 for this sound. And there's a, I think there's a there's a distortion pedal, an overdrive pedal, and that's pretty much it. Oh, I'm sending it to bus number 2, which is a reverb right here. So I'm sending the drums and the bass to that reverb. It's very subtle. And then this other, it's also called heavy bass, but not really. Here's what this sounds like. It's the duplicate of that track running through STL Tone Hub, but with the bass turned all the way to 0, and then just the middle, take a shot for every time I say the middle, is turned up and running through some heavy distortion. Basically, it's running through a guitar setup pretty much. It adds texture to this. Here's what they both sound like together. Here's the bass by itself. Here's that double or duplication, whatever. And that's it as far as bass. Bass is boring. Who the heck likes bass? Bass is not important. No, I'm just kidding. No, bass is the sauce of the song. All right, now, boring instruments aside, let's look at some drums now. And I kid, by the way. I play bass for my friend's band too, so like I can't be too salty. Actually, I got upgraded to guitar. Hey, so the drums. Don't write yourself off yet. It's only in your head you feel. Where in the world are the drums? Okay, so here's the drum output. So all my drums, first of all, let me find my drum track. So first, here's the what's called a mapped instrument. The reason why it's a mapped instrument and there's nothing left on the left over here is because I record my drums using my electric drum set, which you'll see back there. It's an Alesis ADM7X. I don't know, whatever. I don't know what it's called, but what's cool about electric drum sets is that you can record MIDI drums. Hey, so don't write yourself off yet. It's only in your head you feel. Here's what those sound like. And it's cool because like if I make a mistake, I can just fix it. See, this is the MIDI track. So that's super cool. And yes, I did track those live, as in like I learned how to play the song. And of course there were some mistakes here and there, which of course I can always come back here and fix. Oops, the toms are missing. All right, so I'll show you why the toms are missing. Everything will be all right. Okay, so with the way I do drums, it's a little bit complicated. So I'll try to explain it the best way I can. Let me just bring these tracks right here to the actual arrange window. There we go. They're not labeled properly. Okay, so basically, the MIDI is on this track right here, mapped instrument. This mapped instrument goes to this track right here, which is Ultra Beat. Well, I'm running the Ultra Beat plugin now. There's a lot of ways that you can put drums on your track. So there's Ultra Beat, there's Drum Synth, there's Drum Kit Designer. If you want some really cool third-party options, I actually just bought Steven Slate's drums, which by the way, they cost like 150. I got them for $50, but guess what? I can't use them because I'm running Mac OS Big Sur, so that's a bummer. But for now, I use these. Now here's some really cool stuff. For the snare, I actually use a sample from the Travis Barker set. So Travis Barker, if you don't know, is the drummer of Blink-182, and I actually got his samples from here, from Splice. So you can actually, Splice is a really cool app. Splice, you should sponsor me and give me a lot of money for this. But I really enjoy Splice. You can literally find any sample for anything that you possibly want. You want a Travis Barker snare, you just type it up right here and check it out. It came up and then it went away. But yeah, here's the Travis Barker official pack. It's actually his drums. So you can download his kick drums, some fills, snares, different snares too. So I got his snare right here and the kick drum, Travis Barker kick. And of course I mess with these two. And here's something cool. So you can actually make a multi-output instrument. So right here, I'm not just running Ultra Beat, but I'm running the multi-output version of it right here. Since they're stereo, I selected multi-output, and then you get options right here such as sub 2. So you get to group them. So for example, the snare, I'm sending it to sub number 3, and then sub number 3, I don't know if you noticed, but I actually created a track on the actual arrange window for sub 3, which is actually the snare right here. So that snare right here from Ultra Beat is actually being routed to this track right here on the left over here, and I'm running a compressor on it and a channel EQ. So without these plugins or these effects, it would sound like this, which is still a really nice snare sound, but I really wanted to be punchy. So I did this compressor with the Studio VCA algorithm and the channel EQ to get rid of those low, I guess, low frequencies. Well, here's my snare. I think, yeah, I used a preset called Refresh Snare that actually comes with Logic. And I'm running it to bus number 2, which is a reverb. If I would have done this track now, I would have done a lot more reverb. And right here, in case you're wondering, how do you make one sample not sound like that every time you hit it? You know, because like an actual drummer doesn't always hit the snare like 100%. You know, it's like, you know, dynamics. And that's where this slider right here, this mod over here, comes in. So this helps me whenever I'm actually playing drums on my electric drum set. It helps me get those dynamics so that whenever I hit the snare softly, it doesn't sound like full volume, full blast, but so that I can actually like have dynamics on my snare, which is great for snare rolls. Then we got the toms over here. So they're kind of low in the mix, but they do add that rumble. And I just run them through a compressor. And then kick. Oops. Let me find the kick. We'll look at the kick right here. Real quick. Hopefully this part isn't too boring. I'm almost done with drums, I promise. So for my kick to be punchy, here's how I EQ it. Since this is a very low end heavy, like it sounds like it has been heavily processed before it was uploaded to Splice. So it had too many, it sounded like it had too many lows. So I lowered them a little bit. I lowered the lows. How low can you go, yo? And then I'm terrible. Take a shot for every dad joke I make. And I added more punchiness to the mids right here, the middles. And of course the compressor right here. I use vintage VCA right here for a softer, well, I guess I used a soft kit preset, but then I messed with it. So that's what my drums sound like. And then my cymbals, if you're wondering where they are, they're actually here. Watch. Oh my gosh, I soloed this. My cymbals actually stayed on the actual drum beat, Ultra Beat track. And I basically boosted. So here's without the EQ. With, I took away some of the high end right here, but I added like low highs right here, mid highs, I should say. And then all my drums go out to this drum out bus right here. If I solo it, it's just an adaptive limiter to give it more volume, but also compress it even more. I guess the toms, I messed up and I'm sending them to stereo output instead of sending them to that bus out. What is that bus out? Bus out is bus number 5. So I can just go here, send these toms to bus number 5, and now they'll be right there on the drum output. Now you can hear those toms better. And then I have this tambourine. It's an actual tambourine that I recorded because the rhythm of the tambourines that you can find right here. So usually I just go here on Apple Loops. I don't know why it's indexing them. Well, and then I search tambourines. I guess I can't do it now, but yeah, you can just find a tambourine sound like this kind of sound. Watch. You can just find it here and drag and drop it to your track, and it'll automatically go to the rhythm to the tempo of your track. However, this track has, for example, you'll notice right here. Oh, yeah, just be yourself. It So it has some interesting accents. So I obviously the right here, check this out. The loops that came with Apple don't have that rhythm, and I could have Frankenstein something out of a sample, but it was easier to just grab a tambourine that I have over here and just actually record it. So I'm just running that through a compressor and an EQ. So here's what it sounds like dry. Let me turn up the volume. A compressor and a channel EQ, which cuts out the lows. And then I guess I'm sending it to these buses. Actually, I'm not sending anything, so I don't know why they're turned on. So that's it as far as tambourine. No! What am I doing? What's going on? Did I save it? Loading. Why is it loading? That was weird. This tambourine I actually dragged from Logic. And there's actually something wrong with this project. If any Logic Pro experts are watching this, whenever I play this project, my drums go really quiet. And then they get loud. Did you hear that? So it's weird. I don't know. And yeah, last but not least, let me show you my my stereo output. So here I used a plugin, a template called Took It For Granted output, which is a preset that I created for my song Took It For Granted, but I heavily modified it. Here you'll find a linear EQ. So basically the stereo output right here is where every track that you just heard, they all get routed here. So this is pretty much your master bus. Right here I did subtractive EQing. So basically instead of boosting these frequencies right here, these low frequencies and mids, I did boost them and then lower the volume to -2.2, because then the next plugins that I ran on this chain is the multipressor, another multipressor, and then here's the secret sauce. So this is a plugin from Softtube called Drummer S73. Softtube, if you're watching this, please send me a bucket of money so I can talk nice about your plugins. I'll talk nice about them anyway because they're awesome. So this one, let me show you what the mix sounds like without. Hear that? Without. Now with. So this is basically, I think, oh, okay, so there it is on the screen, Intelligent Master Processor. Yeah, so it's kind of like a compressor that just adds like different flavors of, I guess, compression. I just can't describe it. It just sounds, everything sounds so much cooler with this Drummer S7. This song, since it's a cover, I didn't want to like just, you know, mix it and then actually take the time to master it. So I did everything right here on the actual output track. Here's how you make a song sound as loud as possible without it clipping. The adaptive limiter. Here's without. See how it's clipping right here? Over here on the left. Now with that, with. An adaptive limiter, just, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a limiter, so it'll keep all the sounds from going over 0.0 decibels, but it'll make everything, so it's kind of weird because it boosts the volumes and then it just turns them up by however much you put right here. So 2.2 decibels is how much I'm boosting, and everything's stopping at 0.0. So think of it like a water jet that you shoot straight up in the ceiling. This is basically making that water jet stronger and stronger, but it's not gonna go beyond that ceiling. So it's yeah, the water jet being all your sounds. And the multimeter, this helps me check out which frequencies, if there's anything that's louder than others. It looks pretty even, so that means it's a pretty good mix. So this plugin doesn't affect your sound, it's just for monitoring. And that's it. That is how I did my cover of The Middle. So did I forget to go over anything else? I mean, there's automation right here, but I don't want to bore you with all. Actually, there's not a lot of automation on this one. So yeah, that's pretty much it, you guys. So thank you so much for checking out this video, this breakdown of The Middle. Looks like my cat stuck around the whole video, so hopefully you guys did as well. If you want me to do any breakdowns, well, let me just before I go, this whole breakdown thing started when I did a breakdown of the Billie Eilish project that comes with Logic Pro X 10.5. I almost forgot it. That thing has like, it's approaching 160,000 views, so it just tells me that there are a lot of people that are interested in more of these Logic Pro X tutorials slash breakdowns. So if there's any of my projects that I've done in my YouTube channel that you want me to break down, leave them down in the comments section down below. If you want me to break down any of yours, I mean, that sounds like something I could also do. I mean, hopefully I'm getting better at these. This is barely my third one that I do of this kind of video. And well, with that said and done, thank you guys so much for joining me on this video. You guys, I just released a song not too long ago called Midnight Heartbreak. Check it out on my YouTube channel. Links are going to be down below, and hopefully I can make a music video for that one soon, and stay tuned for more awesome content. Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful day, afternoon, morning, whatever it may be. Oh, here's my cat. So here's Oliver, the executive producer, and have a wonderful don't forget to hit subscribe, like, all that good stuff, or else I won't be able to afford Oliver's food. Thank you.